welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. And yes, we have a Fog of War puzzle for you today called Double the Fun, and it's by Sandra and Nala. Sandra and Nala, I think, are names now synonymous with Fog of War puzzles. We've done loads. I mean, Sandra is, I think, the main brains behind it, but I think Nala, her dog, is the inspiration. And we've done loads of these. They're always great fun. This has got a doubler rule in it, and if you're looking at this grid saying what on earth is going on, it's because these Fog of War puzzles, the way they work is you're meant to be able to deduce something about the grid from the white cells you can see, and then let's say we could work out what that digit was. If you put that digit in, it would clear the fog from the surrounding cells. So we'd learn more about what's going on underneath the fog. It's an absolutely superb innovation in the world of Sudoku. I'm a huge fan of these puzzles, and I'm looking forward to trying this one. I actually don't know how hard this is. That is remiss of me. That is remiss of me. I should have checked first. So this could be a long video. You'll have to judge yourselves from the length of the video how hard the puzzle is, assuming, of course, I can solve it at all. Now, I've got some big news for you. Lots of you are patrons of the channel, for which thank you so much. If you support the channel, we are so grateful. Now, this month's monthly reward is this collection of 6x6 trick-or-treat themed puzzles from the Sudoku Skunk Works. And I've been mentioning the last couple of days that there are lots of Easter eggs, lots of extra puzzles hidden in this pack that some of you have found and have been enjoying, but some of you haven't. Well, the Skunk Works, they're amazing. And Rockrat Zero has actually made a video explaining how to find these Easter egg puzzles within this pack, and we've released that on Patreon this afternoon. So if you are looking for it, there's 11 more puzzles in that pack, believe it or not. They're just there for your entertainment, your delectation. You don't have to do them, but if you would like to, and I would recommend it, then Rockrat Zero's video explains how to find them, because they're not hidden in plain sight. Anyway, huge thanks to the Skunk Works again, and for some of you, I know this will open a whole cornucopia of extra entertainment, and that is a good thing. Any other news? No, just to mention Line Sudoku, our brand new app. It is out on all platforms, so you might like to check that out. If you enjoy a good app, and it is indeed a good app. I've got some birthdays to do as well. I'm going to start with Baptiste, who has turned 15 today over there in France, and Baptiste's favourite type of puzzle is, boom, Fog of War. So happy birthday, Baptiste. I hope this and a large slice of very good chocolate cake puts you in a good mood today. Next to Jim, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your wife Veronica wrote to us. She said that Jim literally watches every night, as if that was a bad thing. Well done, Jim. That's what I would like to say, and happy birthday. And then to Abby's dad. Now, Abby's dad is none other than Rocky Rower. And I didn't realise. I thought, in my mind, I've always thought Rocky Rower was a pseudonym, but Rocky Rower is indeed the real name. I know Rocky Rower is an American maths teacher, but Rocky Rower is in fact Rocky Rower's actual name, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Rocky Rower. A constructor who has featured on the channel many times before, an absolutely brilliant setter. I have to say, if I'd realised a bit earlier in the day, then I would have gone hunting for a Rocky Rower puzzle to do today, but instead we're going to do Fog of War. I don't know, Rocky Rower, have you done any Fog of War puzzles? Send us in a Fog of War puzzle, and I will prioritise it. There we go. That's all the news. Let's have a look at Double the Fun by Sandra and Nala. This is what we have to do. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Each of the digits 1 to 9 appears as a doubler exactly once in the grid. There is only one doubler in each row, column, and 3x3 box, and digits that appear as a doubler have a value that is double their size. So imagine this square was a 9 and it was doubled. It would be worth 18 for whatever purposes. The rules then say the value of digits in a cage must sum to the total in the top left-hand corner of the cage. So these 3 squares sum to 8. Digits may not repeat within their own cage, although values may. Oh, I see. Yeah, so if this has got a doubler in it, then we've got to recalculate how we're arriving at 8, because the double digit will count double in terms of the cage total, or reaching the cage total. The value of digits along an arrow must sum to the value of the digit in the corresponding circle. Each arrow has its own colour, and arrows of the same colour are connected. Well, so there's one arrow we can see here, and instantly we can tell something about this ludicrous arrow in box 1. Oh no, hang on, I've just realised as well, there was a preamble I was meant to... I had my cursor. I'll read the preamble at the end. Anyway, we'll finish the rules first. Yeah, but this ludicrous arrow, I mean, there's clearly something going on, because this cell is meant to sum to the same... Well, the sum of the contents of the arrow is meant to be equal to the digit in the circle. So how's that working here? We might want to give that some thought. Additionally, the grid is partially covered with flog? It's partially covered with flog, apparently, and fog, and placing correct digits will clear the fog from the surrounding cells, possibly revealing more clues. So that's understood, but I didn't read the preamble, which is all about the fact... Well, I'll read it. It says, "It's a very special day for Nala, because she gets to have a visitor. It is her best friend, Nelly. Nala and Nelly have been best friends since their earliest puppy weeks. And whenever they come together, all the fun is doubled, but the backyard will often be left in chaos and a huge cloud of dust. How will the backyard look once the dust settled?" I don't know, so there might be stuff going on under the grid. I remember in one Sandra and Nala puzzle we had to find a present. So maybe on this one we're going to find what Nala and Nelly have played with in the backyard or something like that. I don't know. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the good thing about Fog of War is that you don't have to think very long to work out where to start them. I mean, because we've only got some white cells in the grid. And if we look at this arrow, if there was no special rule in this puzzle, the puzzle would be instantly broken, because if we put a 3 in here, that would also have to go in the circle, and there'd be 2 3s in box 1. So we know one of these is a doubler. Now, how do we work out which one is the doubler? So if... can we just do that, or is it actually going to take some calculation? If that's doubled, so whatever value we put in there gets doubled, then this is an even number, which would have to be in an even number in an 8 cage. Okay, so an 8 cage, assuming there's no doublers in it, is either 1 2 5 or 1 3 4. Now I can actually tell you, therefore, that if this is doubled, this is not a 1 2 5 cage, because the only even number in a 1 2 5 cage is a 2, and that would go there, and this would be a doubled 1, and then you couldn't fill the rest of the cage, because the 1 has gone, but is necessary once we make this a 2. Now, if on the other hand we go for 1 3 4 as the contents of the 8 cage, this could be a 4, and this would be a 2 doubled, and that then does work. So we'd have... Right, let's just work this out. We'd have 4 here, 2 doubled here, and a 1 3 pair at the top. Yeah, and that then would be very interesting, because that puts a lot of pressure on that cell, which couldn't be a 1 2 3 or 4, so that would have to be a 5 in the 6 gauge, because that 6 gauge definitely seems to be gravitating towards box 4, doesn't it? I.e. it's not a single cell. If it was a single cell adding up to 6, I think I would have started there. Even I would have started there. Right, but the problem with this is that there is no requirement that this is the doubled digit. This could be the double digit. So if that's the double digit, how is that working? So then this digit is even, and it's double whatever we put in there. that feels much harder to work out for some reason. Well, you couldn't... Yeah, okay. One digit this couldn't be is a doubled 1. Because if this was 1, I don't want to put it in big, because if it... Well, I'm not actually sure if it's right, or I can't remember what the other... What was the other version that we said would work? Was this being a 2 doubled, with this being a 4? Yeah, so I don't think this can be a 1, but I'm still a bit reluctant to put it in until I actually understand. If that's 1 and it's doubled, let's have a colour for a double digit. Let's have red. So if this is a doubled 1, what's this square? Well, it's a 2, isn't it? But then how do these squares work? These squares would then have to add up to 6 without using 1 and 2, which is impossible, because 1 5 isn't available and 2 4 isn't available. So that can't be 1 doubled. Now, if it's 2 doubled, this would be a 4, and this would be worth 4. Oh, this is confusing. And these would have to add up to 4, so they would be a 1 3 pair. That's bizarre. So that actually works, does it? You'd have... So it's like the opposite of what we had before. What we had before... This is really weird. What we had before was potentially a doubled 2 here, leading to a 4 here, with a 1 3 pair above it. Here, we've got a doubled 2 here with a 4 here, with a 1 3 above it. And because the double 2 counts as 4 within the cage, you still need a 1 3 above it. So you have a 2 1 3 triple, rather than a 4 1 3 triple. How strange is that? Okay, but that's not the end of the story, is it? Because what about if we had... Oh, hang on, we can't have 3 doubled here. 3 doubled here is 6. And that would be too many. We can't make those 2 squares add up to 2. So this is really weird. So I still don't know which the double there is. Oh, this is ridiculous. So actually the start here is to know this digit, because what we've worked out, we know one of these is doubled, and we know that this is a 2 4 pair. We don't know, but we don't know which of these is doubled yet. We know this is always a 1 3 pair, but that uses up 1 2 3 and 4 in the box. This is very clever, and that has to be a 5, I think. Ah, this is where we get the moment of truth. What's that? Oh, that's paw prints. There's paw prints under the grid there. This is a 1. Let's put that in. Oh, that's great. That is a lovely beginning. Oh, look, the 1. That's going to be a 1 here. That's going to give us more joy. 1 3. Oh, that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Wow. Okay. Hang on. Now hang on. Do I still not know which way round? I think I'm being really, really dense here. I think it's totally ambiguous. I'm sorry. I have a horrible feeling that there are literally thousands of people shouting at me about which way round this goes, and I can't tell. Right. Okay. So what do we know now? We know this is a 6 7 8 9 quadruple. Oh. But we could have doublers, of course. Oh, Bobbins McBobbins face. Otherwise, this is really restricted, isn't it? Because if this is a totally natural arrow, this square here can't be less than 6, because 1 2 3 4 and 5 have already gone. So that would be a 6. This would be a 2, because it can't be a 1. And 6, 2 and 1 add up to 9, which we put in here. Now, the problem with that is that this cell... Oh no, well that can't be doubled. No, that's fine. This is fine. Because if we think about... If we double this square, which is at least a 2, and this is at least a 6, this is adding up to far too many. So actually we have got a freebie here. in the sense that this is 9, must be 9, yeah, this must be 6, this must be 2, and that's putting a 2 here and a 4 here. Oh, it's strange when you put digits in and they don't reveal the fog. But now obviously that's the doubler, isn't it? That's the only way that can work. So this is undoubled. This is a 7-8 paired complete box 1. Ooh. So that right, okay, so this 15 gauge is not true anymore, because there are 2 ways to make 15 in a domino, and one of them is 9-6. So that's not 9-6. One of them is 7-8. Well, if that's 7-8, that square has no possible fill. So there must be an adulteration occurring in this 15 gauge. There must be. So there is also, therefore, a doubler down here. Now, how do we work out which one of these cells is doubled? I don't know off the top of my head. One thing I can say, which is, I'm just going to mention it because it feels mildly interesting to me. Yeah, never speak to me at parties. Never goes well. Never goes well. Normally puts people to sleep. Because one of these squares is a doubler, the other square has got to be an odd number in order to give us 15. So what does that mean? What are we doubling in this box to get us up to 15? We can't double 3, can we? Because the other digit will be a 9. We could double 4 with a 7. You can't double 5 because if you double 5, what's the other digit going to be? It's going to be a 5. You can't double. Oh, look, well, that's weird. So you have to double 3 actually, because if you double 7, you need a 1, and you can't get that. So there's a doubled 3 in here, definitely. No, sorry, not. Was it a double 3 or double 4? No, there's double 4. Double 3 needs 9. Yeah, double 4 and a 7. Oh, I see, which gives me. It gives me that digit. So that's 7. That's 8. Now, oh, I see. Yeah, and I do see. If that's doubled... Oh, no, but that could be doubled. Oh, no. Oh, that's rotten. Yeah, sorry, because I was about to make a logical error there by saying, well, that can't be doubled, because it would get too high. But I was forgetting that this could be doubled. You could have 2 doublers on an arrow. I don't think there was anything in the rules that said you couldn't double 2 digits. Okay, so, but if that's doubled, neither of these are doubled. But that feels okay, doesn't it? That digit still could be 3. And I think that digit might be able to be 5. 5, 4, and 9. So the pressure must be if this is doubled. So if this is doubled, then this must also be doubled, because otherwise we're getting too big. And that means this is even and would have to be 6 or 8. But I think it could be those things. Sorry, I'm not spotting how to do this immediately. Maybe we can actually disprove 7 here then. Maybe that's a better strategy. I.e. a doubled 7. Oh, but hang on. If that's doubled 7, that's 14, isn't it? So this would have to be, well, it couldn't be 2 or 4, so it would have to be 6, because we'd need to keep this even, and that's too big then. So if this is doubled, it's not 7, it's definitely 8. And then this is too big, so that then is doubled. So if this is doubled, this is doubled. And this is worth 8. And that would be added to either 6 or 8 here. So this would either be a doubled 8 or a doubled... Oh, it couldn't be doubled 7 though, because that would be a 7. Wow. So I think one possibility here is that this is doubled 4, this is 8, and that's a doubled 8. Now why is that wrong? Because if that's not wrong... If that's not wrong, there must be a reason that this can be disproved from being a doubler, which suggests that this arrow, if it's completely natural, is impossible. And that suggests I've misunderstood the world, frankly, because I couldn't see why this couldn't be a 5, 4, 9 arrow. Oh, but maybe this is always a 4. Maybe that's the point. Ah, yeah, okay. So that's what I'd missed. I think this always has to be a 4. If it's doubled 7, this gets too big even when it's doubled. And if it's simply 7, well, if it's a simple 7, then this is doubled and that stops that being doubled and you can't make it work. So that is always 4. That's what I'm missing. Ah, there we go. I understand now. Thank you, brain, for finally elucidating me. Now, so I still actually, hang on, I've got rid of the doubling thing. I think I don't like this 6/8 pencil mark. I'm still not sure that I've completely... No, I haven't, because that could be doubled, and this could be 9, and this could be 5. That's still absolutely on the cards here. And if that's doubled, then this is also doubled, and we get that 8 here, don't we? Okay, but we have at least revealed more fog now. We've got a 25 cage, which is growing somewhere over here. And we've got quite a... Hang on, I've got to be careful here. The 25 is not saying that this circle adds up to 25. Let's be very clear. This circle adds up to the sum of at least those 3 digits. That's certainly true. But I think... Oh no, those digits are at least adding up to... Well, this is at least a 3-5 pair, isn't it? Just looking at the contents of this box. So this is 3, 5. Well, if this is undoubled, this would have to, if there's no doubling on this line anywhere, this would have to be 3, 5, 1 adding up to 9. Now, what's wrong with that? Don't think there's anything wrong with that. There may be, but I'm not seeing what it is. But if this is doubled, that would sort out this line as well, wouldn't it? That would make this doubled. Oh, I'm not sure now. It really throws a spanner in the works, having this ability to double things. It really does make things less clear. Maybe it's some sort of Sudoku trickery. How do I know whether this is doubled or not? And how big is this cage? We don't know. It could just be 4 cells, actually. That isn't impossible. Maybe I've got to label these up. These are 1, 2, 3, and 5. This one is not 1 or 2, so that is definitely 3 or 5, which is odd. This one could be even though. So, and we don't in fact know where this arrow's going either. It could go to far away fields. Right. Again, I'm coming... Oh, hang on, of course. The fact that this is a 4 Yeah, wherever the 4 went was the double digit in the 15 cage. Oh, Simon. I was forgetting that. That's quite important. Oh, for goodness sake. That's right, so that's got to be doubled, which means that I was thinking I can't do this. But that's now, if that's doubled, that's not doubled. And we know how, there's no other way that this can work. If that's not doubled, it must be 9. This must be a 3-5 pair. This must be a 1. Oh, look, it's becoming simpler now. That's a double digit. So didn't we say that? We did say that had to be doubled. And we in fact worked it all out. That's an 8. This is an 8. Oh, look, at least we've done the thinking. These two squares have got to be 5. Oh, 9. We can just put, oh, hang on. Something's going, that's interesting. This is a 9 on the arrow. And this square's a 6. So now we can see that this has got to be doubled, because otherwise it can't possibly work. So these are not doubled. And this is obviously being doubled. It's an even number. So this is now an odd number, which is not 9, 1 or 7. So that's 3 or 5, which gives me a 3-5 pair in this column. So the digits I've not put in this column are 6 and 9. 9 doesn't work. Because that would, the way that would work is if this was a 9, so we'd have doubled 9, which is 18, has to be equal to double 2 9s. So this must be 6. That's 9. This square is now 3, because we need this to have a value of 12. That gives me the 3 here, the 5 here, locks me down for a 2-5 pair at the bottom of this column, 4, 7 and 8 here. I'm so sorry that was so utterly inept, but never mind. We're still alive. Now, what have we got here? We've got 12, so we need 13 more into those squares. Well, that has to be 6, 7, because it can't be 5, 8 or 4, 9. So that's going to give me more digits, more digitage. One of these is red from Sudoku. We've just found a 13 cage. Yes, that is fully delineated within the fog. 4 cells adding up to 13 have to include a 1. So there is definitely a 1 in one of those squares. Oh, which interestingly we could have seen from Sudoku anyway, because of this 1-2 pair here. So in fact there's a 2 in there as well. There's also some funny arrow going. In fact, I'm going to delineate it just so that I can see it. So it's that sort of shape, isn't it? Right, what do we know about this then? Do we know whether that's a doubler? If that's doubled, it's doubling the value of at least, but hang on. That's not in the cage with these 2 digits. So, what does that mean? So I've got horrible... Oh, hang on, I've just noticed something else. I don't know if this is relevant, but I just noticed it, so I'm going to tell you. The digits I've doubled so far are 2, 4, 6 and 8, which are all the even numbers. So when we do encounter doublers from now on, they have to all be odd numbers. Now, it must be this cage somehow. The question is... I think the question is this doubled? Now, if this is doubled, what number is it? It can't be a 3, actually, and it can't be a 1 or a 2. So the minimum value that I can double in this square... No, I can't be 4. I've doubled 4. The minimum value... I keep revising... Oh, this is fine. Now I've done it. So the minimum value I can double in that square is 5. But if I've put a doubled 5 in here, that's worth 10 in the cage. And these 3 squares would have to add up to 3, and that's not going to work, because they already add up to 3 with the 1 and the 2, and the 3rd digit is not 0. So, that means this is a natural digit, which means that... What does that mean? Well, okay, if it's a natural digit... We've got a 1 and a 2 in the cage, which add up to 3. So the other 2 digits add up to 10. and they're not 1, 9 or 2, 8. And then, oh, I was going to, no, they're not 3, 7. This 7 sees all the entire cage. So it must be 4 and 6. So this is a 1, 2, 4, 6 cage, and the 6 must go there. And that's good, it worked. Okay, so this is a 1, 2, 4 triple. These squares, no, that's not what I was about to say, was total gibberish. That's a 3, 5 pair. Oh. We've got another 15 cage here, which I don't trust at all. And this... Oh. Ah. Hang on, what have I done wrong there? Oh, that's weird. Right. I can at least see a way this can work, which is a relief. But normally, when you get an arrow of 3 cells that adds up to 6, you immediately say that's a 1, 2, 3 arrow. Well, let me tell you, this is not a 1, 2, 3 arrow, for this square cannot be a 3, and neither can those two squares. So that means that there must be a repeated digit on this in this sequence. Now, what could the repeated digit be? Well, it can't be a repeated 2, because then the other digit would also have to be a 2, and all of those squares would be a 2. It can't be a repeated 3, or the other two digits would be a 0. So it's a repeated 1. And where do the digits repeat? They must repeat there. So those are double 1. That's 4, that's 2. Boom. Right, these squares are a 7, 8 pair now. And that's not doubled. So the double digit here, which could I suppose be in the circle, but whichever one of these is doubled is the 7, because we've already had a doubled 8. Now, what does that mean? Don't know. Let me think. We've already had a doubled 8, so if this is an 8, this is a natural total adding up to 8. Or maybe a better way to think about it is whether the 15 cage... If the 15 cage... Well, that's interesting. If the 15 cage... Don't go there. If the 15 cage is natural, it can't be 6, 9, so it would be 7, 8. But you can't put a 1 here. So that would be doubled. Because we're adding 7 to at least 2, which can't add up to a natural digit. So this would be a 7 adding up to, which is valued at 14. But then, so then that would be natural, because otherwise that would have to be a 0. This would be 7. This would be, oh no, that could be 3 7s. I don't believe it. So if this is a natural 15 cage, I'm not totally sure about this, but I think it can only work one way, because we'd get 14 as the value we're heading for from these two digits, with this being a natural 7 or 8. Well, if it's a natural 8, that has to be, oh, it could be a double 3. Gosh, I didn't think of that. Oh, no, it can't be a double 3, because that would break. Oh my goodness. Right, so it's quite complicated, but if this is natural, that's doubled 7. If this is 8, it doesn't work, because you need to give this a value then of 6, and 6 and double 3 are off the cards. So you have to make this 7, which means this has to have a value of 7, which takes away its doubler option, so it would just go 777 along the diagonal. Now, that assumes this is natural, which is, I'm now thinking, is less likely. So if this is an unnatural 15 cage, then we know the doubler must be here, which means this is an odd digit. Because this will obviously, if you double a digit, you get an even value. 15 is odd, knowledge bomb. So this is odd, and it's not 1. So this would be 3. This would be 3, 5, 7, or 9, none of which we've seen as doubled yet. And this, the other thing is that if this is doubled, both of these digits are natural. Right. What does that mean? Well, in this paradigm, which is where this is a double digit, this can't be 3, because then we need this to be doubled 6. So it's not 3. It's actually not 5 either, because that runs into the problem that has to be double 5 again. But I think the other way round from where we did it last time. Now, ooh. Oh, that's really clever. Nothing works, in fact. This simply does not work, because everything gets ruled out for a variety of reasons. If this is 7, this has to have a value of 8. But it's a double digit, so it would be double 4, which doesn't work. If this is 9, this has to have a value of 6, which it can't do, because double 3 is not available. So this simply doesn't work. So in fact, this is a natural cage, which means it's 7, 8. And we worked out this couldn't be 8, didn't we? We worked out this had to be doubled, which means it's doubled 7. This is 8. That's doubled. Whoa, that's doubled. This is undoubled. And we worked out this all had to be 7-ish there. That's 8. We've got another thingy that's in... Oh, we've got some paw prints as well that have emerged over here. I don't know whether that's... is it Nelly? Nala or Nelly? I'm not sure. That's a 7, 8, so that's a 4. That's a 7. That's an 8, just Sudoku-age. That's an 8 down here. I've not been thinking very hard about the double digit. So the double digit... there's a doubler in one of those two now. That's forced. Now, what does that mean? 9 in this box is forced. It's got to go there. Oh, that gave me a little tiny addition. So these squares are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in some order, but there's a doubler affecting the sum. Now, we've had 2 and 4 as doublers. So the doubler down here is a 1, 3 or 5. There's Maverick flying past. So if that's doubled, if the circle is doubled, and it's a doubled 1, 3 or 5, it's not a doubled 1 because you can't make those two squares add up to 2. A doubled 3 would require these two squares to add up to 6. Oh, bobbins, that's got 2 ways of working, I think. A doubled 5, well, doubled 5 doesn't work actually, because then these two squares would have to add up to 10, and the only digits available are 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they couldn't be doubled. So this, if this is doubled, this is a 3. Let's put that in the corner. not worthy of a song like that one, but it's still worth thinking about, isn't it? But if this is doubled, on the other hand, what does that do to the world? It can't be a massive... No, it can't be a massive digit doubled, can it? Because it couldn't be a 3 doubled, because then that would take this total to at least 7, and this only has a top value of 5. So it would either be a 2 doubled. No, it's not a 2 doubled. It would have to be a 1 doubled. It would have to be a 1 doubled with a value of 2. 1 doubled with a value of 2, but then that could be a... Oh, that can't be a 4. So 1 doubled with a 3 here would give a value of 5 here. Oh, well, that's okay. So that's the same as that. Right, I think that what we've just proved, that's a 3-5 pair. And 3 in this box, I think, is in one of those two positions, is I think where I just got to there. I probably can narrow that digit down as well. I'm just going to pencil mark this column though while I'm thinking about it. I've got 2, 6 and 9 to place. Right, and that's interesting for that square, which now has to be a 6 because it's it sees 2 and 9. That's revealed something or other. Well, that's doubled. Oh, this is great. Right, here we go. Here we go. We've cracked it. Because look, what on earth is this digit? It's the sum of an awful lot of digits, 2 of which are already 9 at least. So this is more than 9, so it's doubled. Now it's not doubled 2, we've had that, and for many reasons as well. If that's doubled 2, there would have to be a lot of negative numbers along this arrow. So that's doubled 9, which is 18. This is a 2. There's probably a lot more we can do with that. Let me just mull this over. We're going to have a doubler in, well, one of those two. And we're the only doublers we haven't had are 1, 3 and 5. So it is possible that that could be a doubler on the line, I think. That's not doubled, is it? Hang on, let me just... Can we get... Do we know that... Yeah. Here's something I hadn't spotted. That's a doubler. Here. In box 9. By Sudoku, actually. Because the doubler here is in one of those two squares, and we know this is a natural digit. So that's a doubler. Oh, this is huge. This is a 5. Because I've only got 1, 3 and 5 left as my doublers unaccounted for. I've got a 1 and a 3 in the row. Right, that's a 5. There's more footprints in the corner down here. I can't know. That could have been double 3, couldn't it? So I still don't know what this is. Or whether that's the doubled 1. Yeah, it says 1 or 3 doubled in here. What about those two digits? They're not... 9. 9's got to be there in that row. Not put 2 in, so 2 goes here. Did that do something here? I can't remember what the options were. Probably did. That's not doubled anymore. So that we have got a doubler on this line. Which, now hang on, we can do some magic with that, can't we? We can work out the parity of this digit. Don't know if that's helpful, but we can certainly do it. Because we've got a doubled number here. Plus an even number, so we're currently on an even number, adding up to an even number, which is 18. That's odd, so this is odd. And it's 1, 3 or 5. Botheration. It literally is 1, 3 or 5, I'm afraid. Okay, that wasn't the best result, was it? This, though, is a doubled 1 or a doubled 3. I'm tempted to say if that's... Oh, hang on, it's not doubled 1. It's doubled 3 then. Oh, that's huge. Right, so that's doubled 3. I was actually getting there a different way, unsurprisingly. I was thinking about the maths of this arrow, because I've got 18 here. And I was thinking if that was doubled 1, I couldn't possibly get the other digits to add up to 16. But now I've got 12 with these two digits. So I need 6 more. So this could be a 5-1 pair. Or could it be double 3? Maybe. Maybe. I don't think we know that. But the fact this is a 3 does help us a little bit. Because now we can work out how this arrow works. This... Yeah, the option I was worried about down here was that this was a doubled 3, wasn't it? Because then this arrow had to add up to 6. Yeah, which could actually only be 1, 5 now. But that's off the cards. That doesn't work anymore. So we know what's being doubled in this box is 1. So that must be there. So that's a 1. This is natural. I think that had to be a 3 with a 5, if I remember rightly. As the only way it could work. If that's 4, that's got to be 6, which is too big. So this is 3, this is 5, this is 5, this is 2, this is 4, this is 5, this is 3, which means that's 3. We know those two had to add up to 6. 8 in column 5 has to go here. 4 has to go here. These squares are 1, 5 and 7. Which is incredibly annoying, because that's going to leave behind it a chocolate teapot triple. Bobbins. Okay. What about... Well, it must be Sudoku then. Because we've done all the doublers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've done all the doublers. All of the arrows seem to be filled, so it's somehow Sudoku from here on in. Let me just mull that over for a second. Is there something obvious? Yes, that digit's a naked single. It sees 7 and 9, so it can only be a 1. Aha, that's it. That's extremely... I'm relieved about that because I was worried that there was going to be no way of resolving it from where I just arrived. But now it seems we are able to fill some things in. So top row, we need 2, 6 and 7. So the 7 goes in the corner. This is a 2, 6 pair. These squares have got to be 4, 5 and 8. And that one has to be a 4. What about these two squares then? 4 and 6. That's a 4. That's a 6. These two squares are 2, 3 and 5, which is perhaps unresolved. I can't see how to do that immediately. There might be a way, but I'm not seeing it. What about this column then? 1, 2 and 3. Oh, I'm going to get another. I was going to say, I thought I already had a 3 in the corner. You've already been subjected to my singing once. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. That's very lovely. It's a complete bonus if you get 2 of those. The other day I got 3 of them. I think that was in Analytical Ninja's puzzle. That was a rarefied treat indeed. Look, we've done it now. So absent my oh, hang on. I was that didn't. Normally when you press tick, you get a very set message, but I could see that was not the message I was expecting. The solution is correct. Now that the dust has settled, it doesn't even look as bad as expected. What a relief, since Nala is already planning to invite Nelly again. 438 people have done this puzzle. Oh, I see. So we've got some footprints across the piece, but that's all. So there's no, there's no holes being dug up or anything underneath the fog. That was very clever. There was a lot to that actually. It was far more. I don't like the word difficult because I didn't think it was that difficult. It was just fiddly. You had to really think, and I was incredibly bad at understanding this 15 cage. Just embarrassingly awful. I just forgot that the 4 had to be doubled. I mean, I don't know how much gibberish I spouted during that part of the video, but it was probably a great deal. I'm really sorry if you're cross with me about that. I'm quite cross with myself. But yeah, no, it was very nice the way that you could then start to narrow down which doublers you needed to use. And I love the fact there's like 777 along there. 3 3s on this arrow. It's almost like they've been selected to be unusual arrows, surprising arrows. That's a cool puzzle. Look at these arrows. These arrows look total and utter gibberish, don't they? It was double the fun indeed. Thank you very much to Sandra and to Nala, of course. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Please be kind. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.